Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Edge channel. It's too early for Alexander Usyk to relax. In the rematch, Anthony Joshua can create problems for the Ukrainian if he returns to his boxing style. Former world champion Nigel Benn is in no hurry to write off the British boxer. In his opinion, Joshua simply chose the wrong tactics to fight against the Ukrainian, but everything can be corrected in the rematch. Nigel Benn in an interview said that Anthony Joshua will be able to defeat Alexander Usyk. Former world heavyweight champion Laymon Brewster believes that Anthony Joshua could wear down the owner of the WBA, WBO and IBF titles Alexander Usyk if he actively went forward in their fight. According to Brewster, I'll bet my money on Anthony in the rematch. He will improve in the same way as happened in the confrontation with Ruiz. He has a lot of time. I'm sure he will correct his mistakes. He will return to what he was before. After all, it is inside him. He doesn't need to look for something new. He already has everything to win. In a recent interview, the promoter of the WBA, WBO and IBF heavyweight champion of Ukraine Alexander Usyk, said that 3 countries are being considered for a rematch with Anthony Joshua, including Great Britain, Ukraine and the Middle East. As you hear, the promoter, representing the interests of the Britain, says that he is inclined to hold this fight in London at the Tottenham Hotspur or Wembley Arena. Recall that the first match between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua took place in September 25 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, United Kingdom. The victory was won by Ukrainian by unanimous decision of the judges. It is expected that the rivals will hold a rematch in the spring of next year. Former absolute world champion and the first welterweight Kostya Tszyu said that he is embraced by the current holder of the WBA, WBO and IBF titles in the heavyweight division, Alexander Usyk. According to the legendary Russian boxer, the Ukrainian has every chance to become the absolute world champion in heavyweight. The WBC belt, which Usyk lacks for the status of an absolute champion, is now held by the undefeated Briton Tyson Fury. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 10,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. Nigel Benn is in no hurry to write off the British boxer. In his opinion, Joshua simply chose the wrong tactics to fight against the Ukrainian. But everything can be corrected in a rematch. Everyone is writing Joshua off. I am a big fan of Anthony, but I have to admit that his plan was wrong. He had to put all his weight on Usyk, and everyone understands this. I think Anthony knows that too. You shouldn't try to outbox a boxer. After all, with the skills and data that he has. Look for yourself. Usyk's face was smashed, but Joshua didn't really hit him. Look at his whole path in boxing. He went out to fight and just discharged bombs at people. And this tactic has always yielded the results. The blows found the target. And in a fight with the Ukrainian, he did not do this. The boxing mood was the wrong tactic. Benn admitted. Nigel Benn in an interview said that Anthony Joshua will be able to defeat Alexander Usyk in the upcoming rematch. In the rematch, I'll put my money on Anthony. He will improve in the same way as happened in the confrontation with Ruiz. He has a lot of time. I'm sure he will correct his mistakes. He will return to what he was before. After all, it is inside him. He doesn't need to look for something new. He already has everything to win. He's done it before. We saw his performance with Klitschko and with other guys early. He has the power. It remains only to correct the way of thinking a little. Forget about his damned boxing and do what you have been doing throughout your career. He needs to understand that boxing with a boxer is not worth it. Throw your big carcass on him. Double jab, squeezy in the ring. dictates the rules of the boxer who's bigger. So do it, said Nigel Benn. Laymon Brewster believed that Anthony Joshua could have exhausted the WBA, WBO and IBF title holder Alexander Usyk if he had been more active in their fight. Anthony Joshua didn't use his full potential. He was trying to respond with skills to skills. You can't compete with a guy like Usyk in terms of skill. You need to use height, weight and power. You need to apply everything. You can't just play chess because you are good with elephants and horses. You have to add your queen to the equation, and you have to be ready to sacrifice your pawns. In a fight with Usyk, Joshua would sacrifice pawns in he leaning on him with his weight, and got close to a guy with shorter arms. Nevertheless, it will have exhausted Usyk, because Alexander was very tired, but he acted like Laymon Brewster. He won't do it with determination and skills, said Laymon Brewster. Eddie Hearn, the promoter representing the interest of the Briton, says that he is inclined to hold this fight in London at the Tottenham Hotspur or Wembley Arena. I think the rematch will take place in the United Kingdom. Their first match at Tottenham Hotspur was an amazing event. I would like to repeat it or have a fight at Wembley. We will definitely discuss all this with Usyk's promoter Alexander Usyk, and of course option in Ukraine and the Middle East. In fact, I don't think Joshua cares where the rematch takes place. We have a lot of work to do, but we will get together with Alexander soon and start planning the fight, Hearn said. Fury can't do anything. I really think that he has earned this right. He can release the belt, he can end his career, any option. But to be honest, I don't believe it. I think he's a champion, and all champions are obliged to fulfill their obligations, to meet with their mandatory contenders, just as Anthony Joshua has done more than once before. If we approach the matter with a different attitude, then Anthony could well have avoided a fight with Alexander Usyk, and he would not have had this defeat. But if you are a king, if you are on the throne, then you must protect your status. This is the first. And secondly, I think that Fury's fight against Dillian Whyte is a very cool fight that must take place. As far as I understand, the WBC will announce the official decision next week, and it's annual convention. I suppose this fight should take place in Britain, yes. I believe that it will take place. I really believe it. I don't believe Fury is thinking about retiring. I think he still has unresolved issues. The fight with Whyte, the fight with Joshua, the fight with Usyk. It may be other fight, but again, he has someone to face off it. On the other hand, the choice is his. Let him make a decision that will make him happy. He remembers that Fury has another way to avoid a fight with Whyte. Franchise belt? Theoretically, he can do it, but practically, I'll tell you so. There are some things that happen behind the scenes. Based on this, I don't think this is a real option for him. Although everything will become clear next week at a WBC convention in Mexico City. I know everything can happen, but I believe that next week this fight will be officially sanctioned, Hearn said. In September of this year in London, mandatory challenger Alexander Usyk boxed Joshua and selected the belts according to the WBA Super, IBF and WBO versions. The loser used the rematch clause, but it is still unknown where the second fight will take place. I think the rematch will also take place in Britain. Hearn doesn't hide. Last time at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium we had an amazing event. Yes, I want to repeat. The fight can be held at some place or at Wembley Stadium. The talk of the promoter Usyk that this event can take in Ukraine or in the Middle East? We will discuss all options. That's for sure, but we will take an aggressive position in the negotiations. I don't think there is any fundamental difference for Joshua where to fight, but in any case, a deluge with the Usyk team will begin very soon. It will be an exciting race, but I'm sure that Alex Usyk and I will agree on everything. Hearn got a little turned on during the interview and even began to talk about Joshua's future prospects after defeating Usyk. A fight for the title of absolute between Fury and Joshua. I think the interest will only increase. I'm sure it will increase at least twice, but I don't want to talk about it now, because I think that the contender for the Fury title, Dillian Whyte, has a very good chance of taking the belt away. And yes, I believe that Joshua will beat Usyk. Listen, this is life, everything goes in a circle. It will just be a huge event. Just imagine that Joshua versus fight Fury for the title of absolute champion. I don't hide it, I will prefer the scenario. So that's here. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.